Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me doing my weekly podcast. I have a special guest here who I spoke to for maybe 10 seconds. What's that looter about? But I kind of reached out to this particular guest because that was the last event I really got to compete in for Samurai Showdown before all this went down, and it was really it left a really good impression on me, and I definitely want to go back. So I have Monta.
What's up?
Hey. I was recommended to. Well, first I didn't know if I could just approach you, right? Because I didn't really know you like that. But everyone told me like you should probably interview Monta, and I was like, you know what, that sounds like a great idea. He did put on Looter Bout, him and his cohorts, and it went pretty well, and I remember having a really good time, so for sure. So I guess we'll start off with you talking about yourself. How did you get into the FGC?
Well, so just a couple different. I'm thinking about where to start. This depends on what you consider the FGC. If you consider maybe the first fighting game I ever touched. If you consider the first time I ever went to a local.
Yeah, just actually, you know what? Just start from the scratch. Where's your the first fighting game to go into a local? Like let's go from first fighting game.
Yeah, so I guess I pretty much played it. When I was a kid, I played games casually, basically. The first fighting game I ever actually touched might have been either Clash of Ninja 2 or Melee, because I had a GameCube. I remember playing both of those, especially with Clash of Ninja 2. I used to play that a lot with my childhood friends.
Mm-hmm.
And cause I pretty much I bought it because of the anime, obviously. But I don't know. I remember playing. That's probably the first time I played a fighting game a lot. I played a lot more than I probably really should have. just a lot of fun, for whatever reason. I think from that point, I would say after that, I kind of played a lot of arena fighters, just for because it's growing up, just because of the animes themselves, like Dragon Ball and whatever. I'd say the first 2D fighting game I ever actually touched, the one that gave an impression on me, was Marvel 3 when I was 13. I just went over to coincidentally, I have two friends who I've known since I was 4. We all play fighting games now to a somewhat competitive degree. Well, to a competitive degree. One of them is actually Monk. I actually grew up with him. So
did y'all together go, hey, we should get good?
Not in that game, not in Marvel 3. Basically, he brought Marvel 3 over to my other friend's house, who's now actually a Guilty Gear player.
Yeah.
He brought vanilla Marvel 3, and I was just yo, this shit is cool. This game is cool. I don't know what's happening, but this game looks, this game is OD. And basically, it was 4 of us. There was one friend who started to play it. Basically, he started playing MKX Hard Body. Another friend who turned into a Gear player, and then Animunk and me. Then after that, I bought Ultimate Marvel 3, and then that's when there was the first game that I was never good at it, but I actually took a little bit of time to kind of learn a couple things. That was the first time I actually got invested, I would say. I had a lot of fun. Then I would say the first local I stumbled upon, because I don't know, I wanted to have a hobby basically to go out, and watching Marvel 3 footage, I discovered oh hey, they play this in New York. There's this place called Next Level Arcade. Yeah, where's this at?
So you're your first introduction to competitive gaming for a local was Next Level?
Yeah, I'm young, man. It was Next Level. I was too young for the Chinatown Fair days. Chinatown Fair probably closed when I was 10 or so. Not 10, but closed probably when I was 12 or 13.
That sounds kind of I don't know how old you are, but I'm 29. So I think Chinatown Fair did kind of close when I was 13, 14, I think. And
really?
I'm not from New York, but like most of the stories of like Wong, I remember when I was like hearing about them or like seeing that documentary when it was going around when I was like 14. So I don't know, but like
what was it like 2010?
Was it 2010?
I remember CF closed around like 2010, 2011. But I mean, that's
my timing is completely off then.
But basically, I wasn't there for CF.
Gotcha.
I was way too young. After Marvel 3, I started buying a bunch of games. Basically, once I got a laptop and I got Steam, I started buying whatever games were like relatively cheap. After that, I played a bit of Skullgirls, and then after that, I bought KOF 13. That's the game that Animuk just came over. Like, I hadn't seen Animuk for like 2 years because we went to high school, separate high schools.
Yeah.
And KOF 13 gave an impression on him, and that's actually how I got him in SNK games by accident. Not even on purpose. He looked at Terry Bogard and Athena, and then that was just it. He hasn't switched from those characters ever since.
He's still using the same characters when he started.
Yeah, his original team was. He never had a third, though. His original team was like Athena, Terry, and Robert. Except that Robert was. I don't know. Well, Robert in that version wasn't very. I mean, none of those characters were very good in that version, except for maybe like Athena might have been like okay. But he never stuck to Robert. I don't know why. You think with the long hair he might have stuck to that character a bit longer, but
that game is it's funny. That's how my roommate got interested in competitive fighting games. Was KOF 13. He played a little bit of fighting games, but the one that like got him in, it was 13 because I think he was watching Evo. And he saw some of the most like nail biting sets for 13 at that one Evo, and he was kind of hooked afterwards. And you know that's how his story goes. But it's pretty interesting. 13 is like a pretty beautiful game. So like a lot of people I've met seem to like 13 in some capacity, you know.
Oh yeah.
But
very good looking. But
yeah, continue.
Yeah. So basically started on that, and then we went to the next level maybe like 3 or 4 times before I pretty much got banned from going all the way out there.
What?
Because like I was only 15 and my parents weren't having me going all that far and staying out late, worrying about it.
Was it really far for you to get to the next level?
Still is technically. I mean, it's about an hour. Some changes on the train. I mean, to be honest, at this point, nobody who gives a shit. I'm like, who cares? Basically, I'm 20. Well, once I turned 18, it basically stopped mattering.
Gotcha.
I just didn't care anymore. But before that, I just didn't want to. It wasn't rebellious enough to actually.
Just to go against them.
Pretty much. I should have honestly, but I didn't. In hindsight. No, but one time we stumbled upon a TSB by accident one time on a Saturday. And that's pretty much the first time I met Wise Guy, and the other person who pretty much put an impression on me was Liston. I know Wise Guy remembers this. I don't know if Liston remembers this. He was like, they're both just giving me advice on like 13. At that time I played like I pretty much picked up the game also at the same time, just because like, oh, I have a sparring partner who lives like 5 minutes away. This is great. You know? Yeah,
having a sparring partner that's like close is like top tier as hell when it comes to getting good. It saves you that heartache of playing trash online, and you have someone to grow with. You know, it's such a big advantage even today.
Yeah, not like that, but like at that point I needed friends anyway, because nobody in high school actually played games, or I don't know.
So you didn't even have anyone from school to really hang out with for fighting games anyway?
Fighting games, no, not at all. Because nobody was interested, so it's like, you know, you can't force someone to be interested.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, basically I had a sparring partner for a good month or two. You like pretty much like hung out a lot at that point. I think I was playing. I pretty much went from a lot of characters, but the only character I stuck with was like mature. Or, I don't know. I picked mature. I just happened to play mature. I guess still kind of player to a degree in that version. The other ones I kind of just dabble. And then actually I picked the other character that I played a bit was Cooler Diamond. That's the other character that I picked. It's probably the first character that I picked. Just design wise, that was a weeb.
Well, to be fair, she is one of the characters I started playing too. when I first like started playing, I was like, this character's kind of coolish.
I mean, hilariously, that's still the character I play in 13. It's like the only character I know how to play in 13. I don't know what team I would use now though. Besides, I know all I know is that I'd probably do the Air Lantern cool on point. But yeah, after that, I pretty much just stuck to playing with like friends who I knew who played games, which actually I made a couple, and then we just try to set up like offline sessions every once in a while. But I couldn't actually go to locals until I was around like I'd be able to go to a local like once every couple of months, and I would never enter an actual tournament.
Mm.
But after that, I pretty much played mainly anime games because I didn't have a PS4 until like 2018. So
Damn,
like,
so you were
literally,
like, you just had to play what was coming out for the PS3 at the same time.
pretty much. So pretty much like my my packet of games was limited to like under like Uniel,
Blaze Blue.
Blaze Blue, and Guilty Gear. That was it.
Damn.
Which is all right. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I definitely wouldn't have played those games as much. I feel like if I had a PS4, I probably would have played other games a bit more. But and that's pretty much what I started competing in once I turned 18 in 2016. I started competing in Guilty Gear, and I went to my first local at Chinatown Beatdown. Got my ass kicked by Lost Soul. Second round, the winners. And from that point, I pretty much was a Guilty Gear player for a bit.
I didn't even know that. So like, did you like really like Guilty Gear, or were you just kind of killing time?
I mean, I liked it to a degree. It was also the only game that I could play at that point.
Oh yeah, because PS3 situation.
PS3 situation. Like pretty much, like I played other games and dabbled in them. Like Blaze Blue, I dabbled in a bit. Persona 4, I played a little bit, not much. I dabbled in a bit of Melty Blood before that, but I never actually learned how to play until recently. KOF, obviously, I just did a lot of combos and never had neutral until last year in that game. I pretty much played a lot of Gear until I started, pretty much until Under Night, the new Under Night came out, and then I started playing that. When Eunice came out in summer of 2017, I think it was. Then I couldn't really play for like a semester because of architecture school. Then I quit architecture school and I started hosting locals. I wanted something to do.
So is that why you started doing it? Just because you needed something to do?
Well, I wanted something to do, and I do like event planning and event directing. Like, it's something that I've done sort of before to a degree, and it's something that I enjoy doing. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just do it, I guess. Let me try it out. Like, I actually enjoy like setting up. Like, I actually enjoy the logistics of setting up an event. Doing about is probably the most work that I've had to do logistically for something so far. To say that I could do a major, probably definitely not. I don't even know if I could do like a full-fledged regional, but I mean, maybe I might be ready for a regional. But essentially, I enjoyed the logistics and just making stuff happen. So that's part of the reason why I started doing locals. I also did them because Under Night had just gotten pretty much TSB dropped Under Night as a game, and we were still having like offline sessions with like 8 to 9 to 10 heads. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just do like a side tournament, like in the next level basement, the dungeon. and just go from there. And I did that for Under Night and Melty Blood.
Did when you did that, did you know that you were gonna like include all these other games, or were you just like, we'll do it for Melty Blood and Under Night because French bread? Did you know, like, did you have any idea, like, hey, I might do some SNK stuff later, or
I had thought about it. Basically, it was like I just started around the Night of Melty Blood, and at that point, I didn't even have anybody to stream for me. So the first couple of streams were done on what the Lunar Face channel used to be, which was New York City French Bread. That's what it used to be called, and it was just done on my poverty laptop on 30 frames per second.
I mean, you got to start somewhere.
And so that was until Datagram actually he was like, man. I mean, he didn't actually say this, but man, this is whack. I can do a decent stream. This is whack. I got the money. I can do this. Let me just get some equipment and start something small up and just build it from there. And that's how I pretty much got a streamer by not looking for a streamer. He came to me basically.
He pretty much saw it and was like disgusted. He's like, I could do better.
I can stream this. He can't. He too broke to do it. He can't do it. I can do it.
So mainly, do you still focus your events for mostly French bread?
I do. Well, the last couple of events I also hosted Samurai Showdown, but there wasn't much of a showing for them. Basically, French bread is our bread and butter, but we also get like the most consistent entrance for them. Other games that I do host somewhat consistently are Blaze Blue every 2 months or so. And Blaze Blue and SNK stuff. I mean, before this whole thing kind of went down, I was thinking of hosting more like KOF 98 FE since I had like the way to run it properly now, like more or less efficiently. But pretty much, if I think there's like a community for it, I'll run it. As long as it's like plausible that I can do it at that's pretty timely manner.
Yeah, you're not trying to stay there till 3 a.m.
Right. Well, we never. I think before we used to stay a while, but that was partially because we were overlapping with Team Stickbug, and they had Dragon Ball at that time. It was, it was just a mess.
I mean, that game takes forever anyway.
It was a fun mess, but it was still a mess nonetheless. Nowadays, the latest we usually stay is like the tournament will finish at 11:30, maybe. Well, like maybe 11:30, like 12 o'clock at the latest. That's if we only had like a stream, and we had like a bunch of games. And then everybody would just stay there till 2 because I don't know what. Well, mostly the Melty Blood players would stay there till 2 just because they just be playing casuals and stuff.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I just gotta let the puppy out the back. He's gonna start crying and barking. 1 second.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm gonna take a huge sip of this Dr. Pepper. That's good. Man, that music. Never get tired of listening to that music.
All right, I'm back.
Cool. So I've been wanting to ask you this. How did you come up with the name Lunar Phase?
Well, pretty much because Melty Blood is the source material comes from Type Moon. So if you ever, it comes from visual novel called Tsukihime, and then that comes from like Fate Stay Night. So pretty much we're gonna do like a moon theme.
just to match the
games that we're running, which literally it does. It's pretty much like Uni like Under Night may as well be a Titan Moon title at this point. Pretty much because of that, and then Datagram came up with the best name out of all of us, and we stuck with it.
I was wondering, and it makes more sense now you say that, because I know how Melty Blood works. And I know, like, you can pick the different versions of the characters based on the moons.
That's
And
literally what our subscriber buttons are.
yeah, so that makes tons of sense. I never really quite put it together. I don't know why. Damn, now I feel dumb. Shit. All right, well, moving along. So, no, honestly, like, it's pretty neat seeing a successful like tournament for French bread, because here in Georgia we have we don't have like a local that's focused on French bread, but we do have Climax of the Night, and I got to meet a lot of the community for Climax, and everyone seemed pretty nice, but I never had seen like a weekly or a monthly for Under Night and Melty Blood. And
I think Ball Strike might have had like they may have used to done stuff on Georgia Tech. I know they used to do stuff in Georgia Tech.
Yeah, we used to have stuff here, but I don't remember them ever streaming it. So like, I never see, but I know there was gatherings at Georgia Tech, because at Georgia Tech for like the longest time, anyone who played like anime games up in north side of Atlanta would probably meet up at Tech, whether they go to school there or not. They would just go to Georgia Tech and play. But I never had seen like a stream for honestly for either of these games consistently. It was kind of like, I know it exists, but I don't see it. It's just It's there, but I don't see it. And it's crazy because I know we had a scene, but I never really saw it. I actually didn't even know the game existed for like the longest time.
Jokes.
I was like, oh fuck, what the hell is it? Because my first like I knew Melty Blood existed, but I had no idea what Under Night in Birth was, and I didn't know until Latest came out, and it was mostly because at that time a lot of the Under Night community was really pushing their game like vocally, and I was seeing it everywhere, and I was just people talking about Under Night everywhere, and I was like, what is this shit? And I was like, I've never even seen this shit before. And then I asked somebody, I was like, was this game came out? It's almost like, dude, this game is like 6 years old. I'm like, what the fuck? This game is like 6 years old? And yeah, I was pretty surprised. Like, I've never seen honestly, Under Night to me is one of the craziest stories of like grassroots pushing a fighting game to the forefront, because I think the success of that game here in the West is really because of the community vocalizing how much they like their game and how fun it would be for more people to play it. And I don't know, it's just, I've never seen that for any other game. I've seen other people put work in, but I've never seen a game go from like, hey, this is this game, and then suddenly it's like, and it's Evo, like it's at Evo. That kind of blew my mind when I saw it like get put up for Evo.
Definitely a community effort that I don't know how it culminated, but it did. It's pretty much like the right place and the right time, maybe also the right people. And then luckily the game, people are having kind of a love and hate relationship with it, but at least with Eunice, it was pretty much like everybody loved their game to like the forefront. And people got sense to pretty much want to try it out because they saw everybody playing it. Then the Evo announcement, it pushed it even harder. Started seeing like Street Fighter players pick it up and everything.
Yeah, I tried it because I hate 5, right? So like I had to try something else. I was like, let me play Under Night, and I ended up not liking it, but not because it was a bad game, but it just wasn't. I just wanted something a little slower and much more methodical, because I'm not very good at combos, and I pretty much learned very quickly that a lot of those combos have variable timings in them, and I'm very bad at that shit. So I was like, fuck.
Definitely a combo game.
It's funny you mentioned that people are feeling a little differently about Uniclear. Is it because of like the balance decision made by the developers? Because it seems like everyone's kind of been out of shape because the game is not like Unis, and it's like it seems like a lot of characters got a lot of crazy stuff or didn't get what they needed.
I mean, pretty much it's because, yeah, I mean, literally the way some of the changes were done. Like, there's a character who pretty much went from being the best character in the game to being even more the best character in the game, called, like, Batista. She has, like...
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much she has, like, set play, she got range.
That's the character I'm trying to learn.
She got flash kicks. She can do... She could... If you don't know what you're doing, she'll pretty much just lock you down the whole game.
I saw they gave her, like, her instant overhead back.
They gave her instant over. That's the thing that probably pissed people off the most. Like, that's something that some people feel about Uniclears, and some of them were already feeling about this about Unis because of the way that some of the meta developed. Is that one thing that people liked about it is that it wasn't like set play oriented. It wasn't like nobody had characters had mixes, but nothing was like super messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Where it wasn't like Guilty Gear where you got like Eno doing like high lows of every Yoki situation or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like Melty Blood with like 4-way. Well, Melty was a different monster in that sense too. But pretty much like it wasn't like a Guilty Gear or a Blaze Blue where you had like really messed up like Oki or unblockables or whatever. And some of the characters like Hilda and Batista were pretty much like the players were just learning so much about them that they were finding like ways to pretty much do almost stuff like that. Like Hilda has 50-50s that you have to pretty much guess high-low, and then you have to block pretty much right after it. And then Batista has plenty of those. Seth always had unblockables, but at least like they were like situational. Like it was pretty much on you if you got in the situation. But it was stuff like that that pretty much some of the players weren't like. They're not very they're pretty vocal about how they don't. Some of them don't like that pretty much. They want like probably more a game about like how do I explain? Not like a street. Well, it's not like a. I know it's not like a Street Fighter. People call it anime Street Fighter, but it's not really like. Definitely not like a Street Fighter. I guess they wanted more a game where you had to be more. Yeah, you had to pretty much like do your approaches differently. They
didn't want a one-size-fits-all approach to everything that just fucked you over.
Pretty much, yeah. Like
I understand it. They just don't want someone to put you on the ground and then put you in a fucked up situation that even if you block correctly, you're still fucked. I can get that. Like, it's not a good feeling to defend and then have to guess immediately again. And then if you get hit, then you gotta do it again. Like, it's rough. I don't know if it's like that for all the characters in that game, but
nah, not really.
But I know
some of them.
But like the best ones are probably the ones that can do that.
Well, Batista for sure. Hilda was never considered that good, per se. She was considered like mid-tier. Just because she had like, she's basically crappy defense, the type of zoner.
Yeah.
And then she had like gaps between her strings. But that's pretty much like how some people feel about, well, Uniquely are just like, pretty much like, they're almost turning like some characters like Melty Blood characters. Which if you ever play Melty Blood, it's very different from, it's similar and different at the same time. There's no freedom of, like, on the night, one thing that pretty much had me stop playing it, recently I switched characters just for that reason, is that I like being able to, I like being able to move in my game.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually part of the reason why I picked up KOF, because, like, hey, I got hops, I got hyper hops, I can jump in a variety of different ways. Mai can go, like, for all over the screen. Athena can do the same thing. It was great. Whip can kind of do the same thing to a degree. She got like different movement options. All right. KOF has a lot of movement options. That's one thing that I enjoy about it. It's usually one thing that I like a lot in games.
So you for sure don't play Samurai Showdown.
I played 5 Special, but I played Junfei.
Oh, so yeah, you're all over the damn place.
I started with Reira, and then I switched to Junfei. And then I was at a Pocket Suija for a bit.
That's the character I want to play. But if you want to be crazy with movement, those are the two for sure.
But I think for with 5 special, what I liked the most, besides the movement, was just the fact that like there was a lot of meter management involved, and I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah, that doesn't really exist in the new one so much because
No.
it's you just get it and that's what it does. And the 5 specials, they have the meditation and the state of nothingness, and you can enter rage if you feel like it, and you know there's a sword
Exactly.
gauge that works with the rage, so there's a lot involved with that.
It's pretty much the reason why. That's the, like all the aspects that I liked about Samurai Shodown were not in 7. That's why I didn't really pick up the 7 that much.
Yeah, not to mention that you said you like movement, and 7 does not have anywhere close to the same amount of movement as fucking 5 special.
Oh nah, that's for sure.
It's way slower, and there's no hops, and I guess I really don't care for the hops too much, but I haven't played that much 5 special, so who knows? Maybe I like hops, I just don't know it. I just hate it because it makes me upset when someone runs at me and then hops me twice, just trying to throw into me, and then if they fuck up, they get another hop, which isn't that big of a deal. That shit's aggravating to look at. But I understand people like hop because they like ways to get around oppressive buttons, because they can just hop over things or hop under or crouch under things or jump.
It also makes neutral more interesting sometimes.
Yeah, because they can make a good read and make it pay off.
Like hell, like I played like Street Fighter 4 for like the last month of its before Street Fighter 5 came out, and I was having a blast. Why? I don't know. I just was.
I mean, that's my game. That's the game I cut my teeth on. I definitely came for 4.
Being able to whiff punish people is definitely fun.
Oh yeah, that's definitely sorely missed. That's actually what attracts me to 7, because I have after playing 5 for so long, I was like, I really want to whiff punish people in a way that makes me feel like I did it intentionally. And 5 was not giving me that, and then 7 came out, and I was like, I am whiff punishing the shit out of these players. And I was like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted. So that's for me why I love 7 so much. And I never had played Samurai Shodown really prior to this. I played 5 special for maybe a month before 7 came out, but 7 is my first Samurai Shodown. So just learning that whiff punishment means a lot, and you can kill someone for being dumb. That felt super good. Damn, that felt good. Oh man, I missed that so much from 4. But yeah, man, I remember I saw you, and when I saw you, were just you were running stuff because obviously you're the TO, but this isn't like a you're not running the whole everything on your own, right? So you have any people working with you, like tournament organizers or anything?
Oh yeah, I mean I have one. Let's tag who's Yokai. He was there too. He usually is the co-TO. I also have other people who run brackets for me on occasion. I had one who actually left to Miami recently, so we are down a TO. I do, yes, pretty much. I have people who wanted to volunteer and they help me with running brackets or just managing stuff when I'm not around. And then luckily I don't gotta worry about the stream because I gave the reins entirely to Datagram.
Yeah, running a stream and running the event at the same time is kind of a pain in the ass.
No, screw that.
Ooh, that's hard. Whose idea was it to do Lunar Bout specifically?
Well, we ran. So that was our second SNK event, but that was my idea. We ran. So originally, I was thinking like, what if we did like. I already did like SNK games. The idea was like, what if I start doing like, what if we did like company specific, or like genre specific? Well, because yeah, you know what I mean. Company specific like fighting events.
SNK specific or French bread specific.
So the first one we actually did was in December of 2018. We did one for Examu games because there was a new Examu game coming out. So we did one for It was pretty much a Million Arthur, Arcana Heart, Nitro Plus, and Aquapaza tournament.
Oh fuck! Sorry, someone called me. But
So some obscure ass shit.
yeah, you know those. I've heard of a couple of those. I've heard of the Nitro Plus Blasters, and I've heard of the Million Author. I don't know what that other one was. What was it? Aquapaza?
Aquapaza.
I have no idea what the hell that is.
But that was like the first themed one we did. That one went alright. I mean, we had a 30-man Million Arthur bracket for the first one. And that was, I mean, it was cool. Some people liked the game. I wasn't particularly fond of it myself. But I'm like, okay, let's try running something new.
It's got Iori
at that point. What's up?
I said that game's got Iori.
Oh yeah.
He looks good as fuck. He looks like he's super strong. That looked like they just kept him as Iori, but then gave him a cancelable sweep for some reason. But
that was like phase one of essentially like the company one, and then the second one of that phase was the SNK phase. So our first year running that, we had a really long, complicated name for it called like Lunar Eclipse Phase SNK.
Oh my god!
Obviously, I wasn't gonna keep that. I knew I had to change that going into the second year. That's why like it took me a while. I wasn't even the one who came up with Lunar Bat as a name. Actually, that was all dying though. I was
cool.
Asking people for ideas. I'm like, I wasn't sure like what to do, and then he came out like, oh, why not try Lunar Bat? I'm like, you know what? Out of all the names that I've heard so far, that's probably the best one. I'm gonna just go with that.
I mean, it's easy to say. You didn't want it to be like Lunar Bout executable latest, you know?
Not only that, but like it also ran well with kind of the idea that I was gonna give my the guy I commissioned the video for, the trailer video, which was like to use kind of like a Fatal Fury, Terry versus Geese type theme.
Yeah.
She implemented pretty much like at the beginning of the video. But yeah, the first year we ran like first year we pretty much ran everything in a day because I was still thinking too much about like some people can't go both days, some people can't do this, and I didn't have Sunday at that point. I wasn't asking for Sunday at that point. I didn't feel right asking Henry to open up on Sunday. It was pretty much it was a crazy day. We ran KO 14, 13, and we ran 98 and 02 vanilla. And then Samurai Showdown 7 hadn't come out at that point, so we were running 5 special, Samurai Showdown 2, The Last Blade 2, and Garo. So like half the games came back, essentially, into year 2.
I ended up playing The Last Blade while I was there. It was pretty cool. I'd never played it.
It's a fun jank game.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It was fun though. But that's cool. I mean, the year 2.
That was. Sorry, you can talk.
Oh no, I was gonna say that year 2, you pretty much just added Samurai Showdown, right? The newest one.
And I added Samurai Showdown, and then I ran UM and FE. Because one, those were the games that I was playing. So I'm like, you know what? Like these guys from Brooklyn Video Games might not even come, and I'd rather just play like these versions of the game. And I wasn't gonna expand the roster any more than eight games, like 8 games that we were gonna stream. So pretty much like, okay, let's just do like the UM versions of both games. Take out Samurai Showdown 2 for 7. And then take out Last Blade 2 for another Fatal Fury title. Which that's why we added Fatal Fury Special. That and Fatal Fury Special, like Beast was running stuff at Brooklyn Video Games, and since I was paying attention, I'm like, you know what, let me talk with Beast and like get the setup.
Yeah, y'all did a lot of work to make sure you had all the authentic setups for all these fucking games. That was crazy. Went downstairs.
That was
tons of super guns.
Oh yeah. We had like what, 4 We had like 3 running, and then we had like an extra one we weren't using because we didn't have the space. I believe.
And it's not even mentioning the cabs. You also have the cabs down there too.
Plus the cabs and the O2UM boards. There's also a rumored 98 FE board, but I'm actually glad that nobody pulled it out and that we kind of just used the PCs. It just made it run a lot smoother.
Setting up this old equipment and then making it work with everything is kind of tough sometimes.
It's like no, it's definitely, that's literally why like I wasn't gonna do any of that unless I had Arturo and like Cruz helping out, and obviously Beast and Stream Overlay Pro, they helped out a lot too with that stuff, and Min was there on Saturday as well.
Did did Diddy entering everything all at once fuck y'all up?
I mean, at the latest a bit, but we weren't actually off schedule for the most part.
I don't know.
The only thing that I felt that was maybe like, I guess the only things that I kind of wouldn't have done, I wouldn't have done like side tournaments. That was just stressful for like the last day of everything, and I'm like, oh my god, why did I do this to myself? That plus, I guess I didn't think in hindsight that maybe I should have done. Well, there's reasons why I didn't put Samurai Showdown in the top 4, because I was pretty much thinking like, okay, Art probably doesn't know how to. He might not know how to troubleshoot the pretty much like the melty box that we were using for 98 UM, the little PC. He might not know how to troubleshoot it, so it might. In theory, it was safer to have Datagram stream that. But then I'm like looking at like the crowd of people in the basement, and I'm like, well, damn, I didn't think about that. I should have.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Maybe in hindsight, I should have put like Samurai Showdown upstairs. But then like I was just thinking like, you know what? Like if this PC blows up in Arturo's face, he might not know. We might be screwed in that end.
I was pretty surprised when I found out we were in the basement. Not because like, oh, we're in the basement, but mostly because I knew the crowd of people was gonna be like smothering the setup. I kind of had to squeeze in there, and yeah, I was as soon as I walked down in there, there was nowhere to walk through because everyone was trying to watch Sam's show, and I felt bad because I had to commandeer one of the seats in front of the Super Guns, and every now and then somebody would want to play, and I'm just like, look, man, I can't go nowhere. I'm up next, and there's nowhere else. There's nowhere else to go.
Jokes. Yeah. That's kind of why next year we're looking for. Once all this stuff like goes away, I'm gonna be looking for more. I'll probably be talking with Henry to look for more space or maybe add on space, so that next year we have Apple space for everybody and maybe run more titles.
So you plan on doing another looter bout next year?
Oh yeah, of course. This is definitely gonna be annual as long as I can do it.
I can't. Is KOF the new one coming out this year or next year?
Nobody knows.
Damn. But if it does come out, you're gonna put it.
We have to run it.
Yeah, you have to run it.
If it comes out before Lunar Bout 2021, 2021 Krauser edition. I don't know. I'll think about what I wanna have my boy Kamina do for the video. Well, I'll think about the theming that I want to go. It's obviously going to be SNK theming. But essentially, I would like to have both more space and try to get like more of the New York scene to come out, because we had a good like. It's probably a blessing they didn't come, because I think 100 people. 100 people is probably like the optimal amount of people for next level to have at any given point. Because it's, it's like, oh, this place is like lit, like, this place is, it's packed, it's nice, but it's not like smothering where you can't like move or go anywhere.
Yeah, it was full, but not horribly full. I could get through the crowd if I had to.
Right, exactly. So it's kind of why, like, okay, good thing they didn't come in that sense, but then next year I want to, at the very least, I want to double the amount of space I have. If I can triple it, that'd be great.
I mean, honestly, if the new KOF gets announced and released,
I might have to quadruple it.
Yeah, because you'll definitely have everyone there. Because the new game thing where everyone wants to like try it out, and you'll definitely have way more people
Depends
showing up.
on SNK politics.
Yeah.
Depends on how many SNK events are happening at the same time. Cause I moved it from, so the first time I did it, I had it in March, and then I moved it to February, thinking like, you know what, Vegas Cup's in March, like the end of March. Let me move this to the beginning of February and give it like almost a 2 month gap, and then Vegas Cup moved up, and then Hyperdrive was the week before us. I'm like, man, can't win.
Yeah, you got like sandwiched unexpectedly.
I got sandwiched unexpectedly, but it was also kind of a blessing, so it's not. I didn't even mind too much.
Yeah, honestly, you moving it like a month ahead actually worked out for you big time.
So, like, not even like for good reasons that it worked out for me big time, but you know what, it did. I'll take that.
Yeah, there's definitely a W you have to run with, because had you been on schedule, I probably would have never went, honestly.
That's for sure. I think a lot of people wouldn't have gone. But yeah, I mean, once all this is over with, I want to run like maybe 12 titles, if I can get like a good amount of space to do that. It'd be probably, so we would definitely be adding like 2002 vanilla, since that is the game that everybody in Brooklyn Video Games loves to play. That's like an easy, like, if if I can promote it properly and they actually want to show up, maybe bring out like a. I know Gibby was saying he was gonna bring players from like the West Coast who played like KOF. So pretty much, if I had like the marketing to incentivize them to show up, that's easily like another 30 people who would just show up to play, KOF.
Well, if you guys hopefully next year, I'll see if I can bring like 6 or 7 people with me. We'll have to see. I kind of want to see if we can dominate Samurai Showdown.
Nice.
We have some pretty good players, but we'll have to see, because I don't know what. I actually have no idea what this scene's gonna look like for me, like next year, because
I don't even know what the scene looks like now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really. Like between the virus and SNK
being dumb, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to motivate. It's hard to motivate. I can see the motivation like dropping for a lot of us. We have a really big scene, but like it's just really hard to motivate them to play Samurai Showdown, even though they like it. They're competitive. It's just hard to motivate them to stick with it when we have stuff like Grand Blue, and we have Arxis releasing fucking Guilty Gear with rollback because they listened, and it's just really hard. I would not. Yeah.
Literally, a Guilty Gear player told him like, "Yo, I did rollback for Killer Instinct. We should do rollback for Strive. It'll be a good idea." And then Arxis was like, "Oh, okay, we'll do it."
That sounds about right. That sounds like money. It's fucked up, but like at this point, I think everyone in the FGC is just desperate for like an online game they can play.
That's new, yeah.
Yeah, because, we don't have no new online game that's we got rollback.
The only games that rollback are like Street Fighter 5,
which that's just trash. So the rollback is super fucked up.
I mean, it looks like, just from like watching like Arturo and them play, it looks like it got a crap ton better from what it used to be. Cause I know it used to be like Teleport City. You just teleport over the goddamn place because you're rolling back.
It went from never sinking to sinking to sinking. And like now it's still not working correctly, but
really
it obviously will work better than before, because it just wasn't working. So it's still got ways to go, but it's still,
and now it's like usable.
Yeah, it went from being completely stupid to being usable. It's still not better than Killer Instinct or anything, or or 5 Special, but it's kind of getting there now, hopefully. But we have no modern game other than that one, right? That and Marvel Infinite.
Street Fighter 5, Marvel Infinite, technically, yeah, that has rollback, but that's not even. Ain't nobody playing that.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
Well,
there's people playing it, but like, it's like, It has no hope because the company itself won't fucking support it.
It's pretty much a niche game at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think more people play Marvel 3 or Marvel vs. Capcom 2 than Marvel Infinite competitively at the moment.
It didn't have to be that way. Capcom fought that game so bad.
That they did, man.
But is there any other game with rollback recently that's like a competitive fighting game? Like, you know, it's trying to be competitive anyway? Because I know there's like games with like fucking like the meme animal game. Like that's got rollback, but that's not like trying to be competitive. It's just a meme game.
Games that are competitive that have rollback. Well, I guess like esports games. No, none that I know.
I can't think of any.
Like the only games that are like right now, the only game that I play that has rollback is Melty Blood. It's the only game that I net play that has rollback.
And that wasn't even from them. That was like
community
effort.
Yeah, that was like a guy, and then now it got taken over by somebody else. And then like everything else is like super property.
Damn, FGC is in a rough state. We just want to play online, and with this virus, we have to play online.
The very least, there's like now alternatives to Fightcade, because Fightcade is like a funny case where it's like the rollback is good, but then the emulation is crap. So it's like you can't. It's like the game itself is you're playing. It's like you're playing like on a PS2 version of like whatever. Pretty much.
I've like Vice Special on there. I hated it. Like I played it twice, and then I went back to the one that they released. No, first I played 5 Special on that, and then I found out they released the 5 Special with rollback, like almost like a month after I started playing there, for like a couple times, and I was like, this is way fucking better.
Word.
And it's funny because like you know I'm like just specifically like Capcom has made Darkstalkers Resurrection and Third Strike Online Edition, but they had never ported it to PC for some reason, even though they're like way better than the fucking Fightcade.
I'd probably play those games more if they had like those ports online. One thing I mean, people say VSAB on Fightcade, but the thing with VSAB on Fightcade is that there's like it's not a good like emulation of the game. It's slow essentially. You're playing in slow-mo.
Yeah, I prefer Resurrection. I'm actually a big Darkstalkers fan, and I used to try pushing the game locally a long time ago. And honestly, I just when we made the jump to PS4, it fucked it for me, because even though I have the arcade board and I can play at the house or whatever,
really,
I just want to play online with buddies, and I don't want to play on Fightcade because it's weird. It just doesn't really feel right. But Resurrection feels great. It's like maybe a little off, like this, like the
yeah, it's like 2 or 3 frames off.
Yeah, but I'd rather play the fucking but I know there was a PC version. I could just adjust it to meet what it's supposed to be anyway, and then I wouldn't have to worry about the fucking input delay on the console. I could just on the PC I can manufacture the actual input delay.
It's funny because like PC you can do something. I mean, the only way to like you have like MAME, which actually runs the game the way it's supposed to. It feels like you're playing on feels like the arcade version.
Yeah.
But like you can't net play on MAME the way you would net play on Fightcade.
Yeah.
You have to do something really ratchet, which is that's not usually fun. Just setting that all up. Like that's kind of the one. Like that's like the main issue with CVS2. There's no like straightforward way to net play CVS2 in 2020. Otherwise, I think more people would probably be playing that, like at least a little bit more.
Yeah, I have no idea how expensive it is for companies to release their titles on PC. But
with rollback,
I don't know how expensive it is, but I mean, it's appreciated. You know why it's appreciated? Because these games are gonna get lost in time eventually, and if we could get like arcade ports that are perfect on a computer, they don't have to disappear, and they can have active communities. So to me, that's super important. And I know it's a pipe dream that Capcom would release Darkstalkers on PC, even though it would be fucking simple. But games like CVS2, I think they're fucked because it's like that has to be a joint effort between Capcom and SNK, and I don't know if they're up to work together to add rollback to a game that's 15 years old, you know, or 20 years old, or 20 years old.
Right.
No, it's like
19
years old. Yeah, it's almost 20 years old. Yeah, Mark of the Millennium 2001. But yeah, fucking yeah.
I mean, luckily, there's. I mean, if you ever heard of Red GTPO, I've heard that's pretty good. I still have yet to like net play on it though. I hear it's pretty much like the it's like the good rollback, but the emulation's better overall than Vicade. Maybe that's like a start towards getting like these games like running more properly on a PC.
Yeah, or the company that owns it could easily just fucking put out the damn game.
They could.
It's so crazy they could just put it out. I really don't know what's stopping. You know,
or they do it and then they screw it up like 25th anniversary.
That shit was trash. How you fuck that up? How you fuck that up? How could you possibly fuck that up? They have two. They already made those games individually before, and with better like fucking like systems in place.
They already remade those games before.
Yeah.
Third Strike.
Like, why would they just not port Third Strike Online Edition to fucking PC? Why would they not just do that? Like, that game is like barely different from the Third Strike. It's pretty close. It's not 1-to-1, but it's really close to the arcade version. And why would they just not fucking bring it over? Because it's like, why are you making yourself port again to some shitty casino? Like, you know, that game looks like the shitty casino games that they have at gas stations where people are addicted. That's what that game looks like to me. And
oh, you mean the
slots?
The slots,
yeah. The fucking shitty touchscreen slots. That's what that shit looks like to me. It looks and sounds like that. And I don't know what they were fucking thinking. Because then you look at Third Strike Online Edition, and it's got its own like unique theme with like fucking original content and like new remixes and all kinds of cool shit. And then you have 25th Anniversary Edition, which is literally the worst possible thing you could have done. That is literally the worst thing they could have done with those games.
I mean, it's the second worst possible thing they did. The first worst possible the thing they did was that that big ass like stick that like.
Oh, the Capcom stick. Those came together at the same time. I can't believe how fucking dumb that was. That shit looked like trash.
With bad emulation in it too.
Yeah, it's stolen. If I remember correctly, it was the emulator was not supposed to be used for profit, and they used it for profit.
Full Burn Alpha, I think it was called.
That's that was a big deal. I couldn't believe it.
It's the Fightcade emulator, man. They sold you the Fightcade emulator. They sold you Fightcade.
Yeah, they sold you a Fightcade emulator on an ugly stick that you can't even compete in. Damn. Capcom, man, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? It's not hard to like
the fighting game division of Capcom.
Yeah, I love Monster Hunter. I've been playing that game like crazy. I fucking love Monster Hunter so much. Resident Evil's good. Devil May Cry was fucking good. But damn,
Dead Rising's pretty good when they release them.
Oh yeah, whenever that comes out, that was pretty good.
There's a rumor of an Okami too. I'll be down for that.
Isn't it crazy they never fucking made another one as beloved?
They made a DS one. Okami didn't. That don't really count.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That game is so beloved and like legendary, and they can't make another one for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with them, but I used to be like I was always a Capcom all the way guy, and then like around the time where Ultimate Marvel, around the time I found out that Ultimate Marvel didn't include Jill or Shumagarath, I was like, what's up, man?
You still have to buy them. So like for the longest time, I never had those. I never actually bought those characters.
I couldn't understand why they would sell DLC and then a completely new game a year later. Because they knew.
Still gotta buy the DLC.
Yeah, why would we ever? they wanted to sell us two characters separately from a new title update that was inevitably coming out the next year. Because they already were working on it. You can't just like not know you were gonna work on that. So they did that, and then the Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out. So like, it's been like a really bad rap from them specifically for the fighting game division. But you know, it's not like they have a bunch of good games, so it's not. I just don't know, man. Just fucking release Darkstalkers on PC, man. Just fucking do it. Oh man, that's actually my biggest gripe right now. I've kind of just like SNK too. SNK's on my shit list too. I was never like a huge SNK guy, but like Sam Show made me a huge SNK guy, and now I'm like quickly becoming not. And it's fucked up because so you played KOF 13, right?
That's my first SNK game, yeah.
Yeah, are you familiar with KOF 12?
No, luckily I wasn't into fighting games when that shit came out.
Yo,
I didn't even know that game existed until like way later down the line.
Yo, I bought that shit. I pretty much striked against SNK. I was so sure 13 was gonna be completely hot trash because of 12. Oh, and then I found out 12 was pretty much like 13 demo. Like they literally sold that game just to make more money for sprites for 13. I was so fucking mad at SNK, and that shit was bad, man. SNK, what the fuck, man? They doing good though. I mean, they released like 5 special rollback. That's cool. You know, 97's got rollback.
They just need lobbies. That's what they need.
Yeah, they need fucking lobbies. Oh yeah, Garo got fucking rollback. Really good rollback. This rollback is like perfect, but we have no lobbies. And we need rollback in 7. Not
you need rollback in 7.
And
not in
King of Fighters.
Not in the the
new one. If they don't put in the new one,
they're folding. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Because you can't. Everyone else is doing it now. Like now, you can't play ignorant because with the way
I think Ramble and Dragon Ball may eventually have rollback too.
Yeah, if they did that, that's it, man. Arx has cornered the market. It's like, why would anyone play anything else? It's like, now we have functioning online, and we have a developer we know will make the game look as good as possible. At least they'll do that. I can't tell you they're gonna balance it good because they don't have a history of balancing shit good. But at the very least, the game is gonna look great and it's gonna play good online. And then it'll have one player bullshit. Granblue has so much one player trash. Like I don't use it, but it's there for people who like stuff like that, and it's good.
RPG mode, yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's good. I think I don't care for it, but like I know why it needs to be there. Dragon Ball has good one player content. I just Arxis is only missing the net play. That's the one thing everyone complains about is the net play, and if they get that, that's it. I mean. What are you gonna do? Go fucking say, nah, man, I'm gonna buy Street Fighter 6.
Yeah. Street Fighter. I mean, yeah, Street Fighter 6. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, if they'll have the rollback situated by then, I hope. And
I mean, it's probably gonna be Street Fighter 5 rollback, but better, hopefully.
I hope to God. I will say this though, as much as I shit on 5, the 5 is amazing for Capcom's fighting game network. That shit is amazing. Like, the Capcom Fighters Network is amazing.
Like the ranked, you mean?
No, not even ranked games. I'm talking about you can search someone's name and pull up all their replays in their fucking casuals, ranked, and I think offline too. Like, that shit's nuts. Like, I can't believe
study a guy without them knowing.
Exactly, and then also you can also follow them and it alerts you to when they're doing anything. Like, that is bananas, and there's no other fighting game out there right now with anything close to that. And
yeah, I know Extra had like a bastardized version of that where you can follow a player and watch the replays or whatever. But it wasn't the same. Wasn't nearly as.
It wasn't in depth, and I think it was only for ranked. Right. But
yeah, like exactly.
But like in CFN, you can't hide shit, even in casual lobbies. They will see you, and it's godlike. CFN is godlike. I'm not gonna lie. I think they poured most of their money into that, and it's really cool. It doesn't even work right all the way. There's useless data in there that still doesn't work, but for the most part, it does what it's supposed to do. And I really, 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 really wish Samurai Showdown I had replays at all. But that's just the games. Does Under Night have replays?
You can't. No, you can view replays, but I think it's like the extra one. It's only like ranked replays.
Hmm. So
But
you
it's
can't
not
pull
like.
up casual lobby
But
replays.
nah, but Uniclear like online is pretty bare. I mean, actually, no, it's not that bare bones. Like you can do certain like. It's not. It's like. How do I explain? It's bare bones in terms of presentation. But like at least you can set up where like okay, I can just rematch. I can do like first to 10, first to whatever. I can make it like like typical like Arxis like lobby stuff.
Yeah, you know what's funny is
But
that like
it doesn't have like any of the nice like how like I can pick like the character that I enter the lobby with.
yeah, walk around.
Walk around. Yeah, can't do that another night yet.
It's funny because like Guilty Gear to me, its lobby system was like amazing. Like the player lobbies and the casual lobbies, I loved it. Like having all the arcade cabinets and like being able to have 4 people play at the same time. Well, 8 people, all 8 people can play each other at the same time because there's 4 cabs. That was amazing, and it still blows my mind that Capcom doesn't have anything like that. Like Capcom has no lobby that can do some shit like that, and I can't like. And it's not even just Capcom. A lot of games don't do that for some reason. Like Sam Show don't have that shit either. Sam Show, like you know, it's crazy. King of Fighters has that. King of Fighters 14 has that. But
fucking 14 is better than netcode.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I'm sure 7.
How does that happen? I always wanted to ask the SNK guys, be like, did y'all not just look over your shoulder and ask the other guy, hey, how did you do that thing where you make 8 people play at the same time? Like, did y'all just like? It almost Sam Show almost looks like they tried to invent net play for the first time, and they didn't bother to look at anything else. It's dumb. I don't know, but it's so crazy. Like I think between all the different fighting games we have, if you just took all the good things that all of them did, we could have an amazing online experience. But no one wants to copy each other for some reason. Like if you just took CFN with Guilty Gear's like lobby system, put it together, damn. Can you imagine being able to play people?
You can literally view like older casual matches. Yeah,
you could play whoever you want. You could fucking you don't have to wait in line. You can also research everyone. You can have rollback. Damn, that's the future I want. But you know, if you want to have a complete net play experience, you have to buy 5 different fighting games.
Literally. They still haven't figured out, like, well, they still haven't done it. I don't even know if it's like they haven't figured it out. They might just not like, it takes too much work and money to do it.
I feel like that's the real answer. Like, it might be that. It's too much money.
I don't think they can be that oblivious.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, I am unconvinced. Well, it's possible, but if it is this way and you're a developer, you need to start playing other people's fighting games so you can see how to copy their good shit.
But that's the thing. I'm pretty sure they do. I know, like they have like in certain companies they have like are literally arcade boards in the office and whatever that they play during their breaks. So it's like it's not like they don't play fight. It's not like some of those guys working on those games don't play games. I think it's probably more like a money business thing than like I mean more like a money thing then, because like on a business standpoint, I mean I don't even know, because like okay I can add rollback, but will my game sell more for adding rollback? I think now in 2020, now that everybody and their mother's talking about it, that's probably the case. Because if you look at like Guilty Gear Strive, like the demo is going to be in delay-based netcode, but then the full game is supposed to be in rollback. Like probably the whole game was going to be delay-based, but then because everybody would shut up about it, they're like, you know what, let's just do rollback, and maybe this will be like a good like business decision for people to buy Strive. Like, oh, this game is new, it has a tour, it's it's esports, I might be able to like get some money off of it.
Yeah,
and it has good netcode, so I can like practice and not worry about the connection. This is great.
Yeah, it's such a big. I was ready to not buy Strive just because it didn't have good netcode. Because I had to put my foot down and be like, I'm not buying no more fucking fighting games that don't work online. And now I have to buy it because if I don't, then I'm not proving to myself that netcode matters. I have to buy this shit now because it's important. I have to show Arxis it makes a difference.
Yeah, I just hope that they give us a simultaneous release. In English, so I don't gotta like import.
You know,
the thing is, as a TO, I pretty much have to import if I'm gonna run something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna run Strive because they do. So TSB, they pretty much they run the Guilty Gear scene here.
Yeah.
Most of the players are diehard Guilty Gear players. Part of the reason why LP exists is because they still, not so much now because they've been pretty much like they pretty much had Super TSB. They didn't really have like that many other events like in 2020 were pretty much like preparation for that one event. But pretty much like they ran like other games, but their main bread and butter were just like, oh, we're just gonna focus on Guilty Gear and not really like talk to any other community or promote anything else. Which is, that's just their thing, whatever. But that's pretty much like, okay, then I could run Strive, but we'll see. They kind of already have Guilty Gear on lock. It depends on like, it'll pretty much like depends on like a lot of like logistical things. Do they have? Can they get the days to run stuff? Can they? Are they still like in capacity to run stuff? What, etc. But that's like New York local stuff.
Yeah, there's no reason for you to like.
There's no reason.
Try to. There's no demand for a secondary Guilty Gear tournament.
Nah, it's funny though, cause like Ramblu, we have like pretty much like 3 different, well, like 4 different locals for we had 4 different locals for it here offline. We had mine, which I would run it on Saturdays. You had NLBC, which NLBC is kind of their own like thing. That's like it's good. It's good to go to NLBC if you want to get sponsored. Well, if you want to get like be part of a team and get noticed by people.
Yeah.
Then you had SKD trying to like run his own thing on Sundays at OS, the new venue. Which, by the way, I can't. So like I couldn't ever do. If I did Lunar at OS, I couldn't do any old titles because they're not retro friendly. Like I wouldn't be able to like set up like a super gun or whatever there. So I would have to port everything to like a computer.
Man, being a TO ain't easy. There's so much shit you gotta think about.
Oh yeah. It would also be super expensive, which might not be worth the trouble. Because then I would have to charge. We would have to charge an arm and a leg, and then I wouldn't even be able to pay people. I might not even be able to pay people. I have to pay them out of my own pocket, which I luckily didn't have to do for Lunar Bout. That's like literally like what I cannot do anymore. Because originally, like okay, I'll run locals. I'll take like cabs on my own dime. Nowadays, I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that. This has to like. Luckily, we open like Teesprings and other things to help cover for whatever costs, or like whatever like expensive costs we shouldn't be incurring.
Yeah.
Usually stuff like transportation or equipment or stuff like that. Luckily LP makes enough. It pretty much makes enough that we don't have to spend anything at our own dime anymore. Except for Datagram if he wants to buy something super expensive for like, for the stream production.
Yeah, that's kind of like. So I've been running Samshot at my house for a while, and I don't spend very much money on anything. But the one thing I do spend money on is to increase the production. That's really about it. And obviously, you want the stream to look nice,
Right?
So that's just an investment you make to make. It's just a good thing to help players with, because if you make the stream look nice, then it makes more people want to watch it, and then it gives more eyes on your players. I can understand that, but. All right, man. I think we're gonna wind it down. It was really nice talking to you, though. I know it was kind of weird to pull, like, to close it out here, but I didn't realize what fucking time it was. It's almost 11:30.
It's a lot of different FGC stuff to talk about.
I could talk forever to anyone about fighting game stuff. I could probably talk to you for about 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
But it was cool having you on, man. Do you have anything you want to tell anyone? You know, listening to the VOD later. You know, like any stuff you're putting out or things they should look forward to.
I mean, I guess maybe 2 or 3 things to look forward. I mean, I guess one thing is we are trying to do online events. I'm not particularly looking at SNK titles right now. Just because of how unoptimized it is to run an SNK title right now. You can't really you can do 7, but then the netcode is bad. You can do 14, but then the netcode is slightly better, but not very good.
Yeah.
But we are doing like net play stuff for Melty Blood and Under Night. Well, Under Night on PC once it comes out I think tomorrow actually. So either tomorrow or Friday. So we're gonna be doing net play stuff, and pretty much that's like in support of Next Level since they have stopped operating because of the virus. So pretty much like we're looking for, if you want to help support, just like look on our Twitter. We'll probably be posting like matcherinos, or if you want to enter, we might start charging, and that'll pretty much just go towards Next Level. That's like the lukewarm news. I guess the better news is Lunar Bout 2021. Krauser themed, maybe Fatal Fury special themed. Terry OVA, the second Terry OVA themed. That might be the theme. Who knows? Maybe we could do an Art of Fighting theme. It's like so much different stuff we can do for videos, but anyway. That should still be happening around like February or March of next year. I will make sure that we have more space, and I guess the games that I will say are pretty much confirmed to happen if we get that space are 2002 Vanilla and KOF 11. I might be looking into maybe including another Samurai Showdown and another Fatal Fury, but we'll see. But basically, I'm trying to make it a Final the SNK tournament to go to every single year. I'm also gonna, hopefully this thing isn't like in the long haul, but I'm trying to work with ECT to see if we can get more, make it like another SNK tournament you can look forward to throughout the year. Because I don't think SNK really has much in terms of, majors that people have to go to for like that particular scene.
Y'all are literally the only ones that came to mind when I started playing Sam Show and I heard about Lunar Bout. I was like, well, that's the place I gotta go.
Yeah, I want to try maybe do that. But like I might want to try like help out, like maybe do that at ECT and make ECT more maybe make it like this another event that SNK players have to go to. I think that's pretty much it. I do have another project. I mean, I was supposed to do another event that was gonna be like kind of like a bigger lunar phase, but I don't know if that's even gonna be able to happen considering like just dates and everything, or if it does happen, it would have to be later in the year. Luckily, I didn't announce it, or like pretty much like pick a venue, so I'm fine on that. But if we do our second Moonlit Madness, we probably will be including Samurai Showdown 7. So that could be another event people could look forward to, but we'll see. I think that's about it.
Well, guys, if you want to stay up to date on all that stuff he just said, he's like, that's about it. He's mentioned like 5 things. If you want to stay up to date, be sure to follow Monta on Twitter. He does a lot for his community in New York, so be sure to follow him and definitely keep an eye on the Matcherino. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. Please do the damn Matcherinos. It helps way more than you fucking know. I'm so sick of y'all not doing the fucking Matcherino. Why? It's free. The coupons are free. Just fucking do it. But all right, that's all I gotta say. I'll catch y'all on the next one, and it was good having you, man.
Yeah, of course.